What's up, everybody? I am back here today for another video, and today we are going to be going over the ACC, giving power rankings all the way from 1 to 17. There's so many good teams in this conference. It was very interesting last year. A bunch of 7 and 5 teams. Duke ended up getting to the conference championship, ended up winning it, but of course, Miami ended up going all the way to the national championship. You got a really good top end, you got a decent bottom end as well. Yeah, can't wait to talk about this conference. It's going to be really fun. And of course, I'm rocking the UNC jersey today. I love this one. Really cool. What is this like lining? And yeah, I love the Carolina blue. But at number 18, we're gonna go with sorry, 17, I think. We're gonna go with Boston College. They've kind of struggled the last couple of years. Last year, they weren't terrible, especially at the start of the year, but they ended up having a really bad loss to Stanford. They lost to Michigan State in overtime and just couldn't really pick it up from there. They're ranked at number 105 overall on this website I use called Punt and Rally. And offensively, they're ranked 109th. Defensively, they're 88, so a little bit better. I don't mind their defense. I think it's obviously, like I said, better than their offense, but they do have Evan Dickens at running back, who I think will help them out a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's too much to say about Boston College. They don't really have a good home field advantage. They haven't really put things together in a long time, and I think they're going to finish at the bottom of the conference this year. Next up is going to be the Stanford Cardinal, my hometown team. I covered them all last year. They were really fun to cover. Really cool team, but of course, it's been a long time since they've been any good. They went 4 straight years going 3-9. Last year they went 4-8, so they're kind of on the rise. But after hiring Tavita Pritchard, many thought it wasn't the right hire. They're ranked 93 overall, 107 offensively, 69 defensively. And I really do agree with those numbers. I think that defensively they're pretty solid. They returned Matt Rose for another season. He's been so good for them as a linebacker. But other than that, they don't have too much going on that side of the ball. Offensively, not much either. Micah Ford returns at running back, who's going to be pretty good, but unfortunately, they don't have too much to offer. And Pritchard is just a very like questionable hire for now. He could be good, he could be bad. Who really knows? But I do think Stanford is going to end near the bottom of the conference like they typically do. In 15th place is going to be the North Carolina Tar Heels. I'm wearing the jersey today, but I don't think they're going to be very good, unfortunately. They're ranked 79th overall. Offensively, they're 74th, defensively, 85th. They don't have too much to offer, I think, on either side of the ball, but I really like, Bill Belichick obviously is such a good football mind that I think he can help him out a little bit, but with how things went last year, it's really tough to expect a ton of improvement. And look, I mean, this North Carolina team could be amazing. They could suck. I think they have a bit of a quarterback problem, but we'll see what happens. I think that North Carolina does have a lot of potential, but they're gonna need a quarterback to step up. And if so, I think they can do well, but I'm not gonna bet on it. I think they're gonna finish 15th. At 14, I'm going with the Syracuse Orange. Now, this is an interesting one. They have a weird quarterback battle going on, but I think Amari Odom's going to end up winning it. He did well for Kennesaw State last year, brought him to a CUSA Conference Championship, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, I mean, this team, I don't think there's too much to talk about. I like Chris Peel as a cornerback for them, though. And that overall defensive unit is pretty solid. Offensively, we'll see. I think it just depends on which quarterback clicks with the offense a little bit more. And I think Odom could do a decent job with them, but unfortunately, Syracuse, they also aren't a very tough place to play. I don't think Syracuse is going to be very good, and they haven't been now in a couple of years. Other than that one year, I think it was 2 years ago that they were pretty solid, but last year they weren't great. I don't think they're going to be great again. Georgia Tech is going to be a really interesting one because, of course they're not, they haven't been at the very top of the conference, but they've been really close a couple times. I'm always super high on Georgia Tech going into the season, especially the last couple of years. But this year I have them pretty low, and I know Georgia Tech fans are going to be pretty disappointed, but I really don't see the offense doing super well. I like Justice Haynes at running back, Malachi Hosley as well. I think they have a really good running back unit, but you take away that, I'm not too high on the quarterback play. I'm not too high on just the overall offense. And I don't know. I think it's just a lot of unproven talent outside of the running backs. Defensively, though, I think they're a good unit. I think they'll do pretty well. They're ranked 48th actually, which is a lot better than any of the teams we talked about so far. But unfortunately, I do think Georgia Tech's gonna have a big down year. I still think they probably sneak into a bowl game at 6-6, but I don't know. I don't see them getting to the 9 and 10 wins that they usually get. I'm going to go with Wake Forest next, a team that had a really underrated last season. I believe they beat Kennesaw State by like 1 point early in the year, and everyone was super low on them. But they ended up having kind of a bounce back. I want to say they finished like 8 or 8-4, or even like 9-3. I can't remember, but they did really well. And I think they're going to build on that a little bit. I don't think they're going to do better than that, but I think they'll be pretty solid. I don't think they have a ton of talent any big names, anything like that, but just overall good unit. I like their defense a lot. I think their offense is solid as well. Just a very, very quality team. And I think them and Georgia Tech, a lot of people are going to pick Georgia Tech over them just because they have a lot more star power. But I think the overall unit, the overall vibes around the program just kind of gives Wake Forest a bit of an edge. Next up is going to be the Duke Blue Devils. Now, of course, this team ended up winning the ACC championship last year. Obviously, such an amazing athletics program as a whole, but I have them pretty low. I'm not gonna lie. I have them, yeah. I mean, just above Wake Forest. They brought in Walker Egett from San Jose State, who's pretty solid. I covered him as well last year. They also have Nate Shepard at running back, who's I think going to be by far their star player. I believe he returns for another year, and yeah, I mean the only problem is losing Darian Mensah is going to struggle, and I think outside of Egan Shepard, they're going to have a tough time with the rest of their offense. Their tight end Jeremiah Hasley's pretty good, but the rest of their offense is not that good. Their offensive line, all that stuff is not as elite, I think, as some of these other guys. And defensively, I think their unit's great. I think they'll kind of make up for it a little bit, but I don't, I'm not super high on them. Honestly, I think they have a lot of talent. I like their defense, but I don't know. I can kind of see them just crashing down a little bit without Mensah, with how good he was. And Egett, I think he's a great player, but I don't know. I mean, with that San Jose State system, it really values passing, and this year he's going to be rushing the ball a lot with Shepard. And I don't know if the pass game is going to be as elite as some people may think. I'm going to go with Florida State next, a team with a really good defense this year, a team that has proven, that they're one of the best programs in the entire country, of course. It's been a bad last couple of years, but I think Florida State will at least take strides in the right direction. They kind of did for a little bit at the early last season, but I still think they have a lot of work to do. They bring back Juice Robinson at wide receiver, who's going to be like super super important. I think Robinson can honestly like save the program if he does things well, but we'll see what happens. I don't love their offense. I do think their defense is really quality though, and I think they can win about 7 games. Just they're not going to be amazing or anything. They don't have enough talent for that. They don't have good enough vibes around the program to make that happen. But I do think that they can have a solid year and build in the right direction a little bit. I'm pretty high on NC State this year. CJ Bailey returns as quarterback. He was great for them last season, and I think he has a good offense to surround him this year. A good defense as well. Just a really solid team overall. And NC State has done pretty well over the last couple of years. That I expect it to continue. I think they'll win probably 7 to 8 games. But I do think there are a couple teams, kind of a group of like 7 teams that are a little bit better. But NC State, I'd say, is probably the best of like the okay tier in this conference. Next up is going to be the Clemson Tigers. Now, I think my reasoning for this one's going to be very similar to my Florida State reasoning, but I think that's valid. I think they're in very similar situations. Yeah, Clemson. They're going to have a good defense like they always do. Dabo Swinney always puts together a good squad. They have Corey Myrick at safety, who I really like. Will Helt, of course, is like their defensive lineman, absolute star. And offensively, they had a really good receiving core last year. And even though they didn't play well, they return them. TJ Moore, Bryant Weska are coming back. They don't get Cade Klubnik, unfortunately, I don't believe. But they're going to have a good team. I like Clemson a lot. Like I said, I don't think they're going to be 11-1, 10-2. Like, I don't think they're going to be at the top of the conference or anything, but I think it's just going to be strides in the right direction. I'm not going to bet everything I have that Clemson's going to be great, even though I do really like their receiving core, and I do think they have a good defense. I just think that, like I said, the vibes around the program, it's not super high, and it's going to take a little bit of time to get back to the absolute highest, but I do think they're going to have a good year, a better year than Florida State, and I think they're going to take a bit more, a better step in the right direction just because of how much talent they have, how proven Dabo Swinney is, how tough it is to play at Memorial Stadium. And yeah, I'm going to go with the Cal Golden Bears next. Now, covering Stanford, I wasn't too fond of Cal. I didn't think they were, very good last year, but always a good time to go up and watch those games up there. And I'm so, so high on Cal this year. Jaron Kialway, Sagapolu, I know he's getting a bit of flack because he stayed with Cal, but I think that staying with Cal is really good for his career. He's gonna come back and be absolutely phenomenal. Cal, I'm kind of jealous of Cal, being kind of in the Stanford area because Cal uses the transfer portal so well. and they did an unbelievable job this year. I think they're going to be really good. They have Chase Hendricks and Ian Strong as weapons for JKS at wide receiver. They also have Adam Muhammad at running back, who I like a lot as well. This offense is so good. Unfortunately, I wish the defense was a little bit better. They lose Cade Oluwave, who's their linebacker. He was kind of their star guy last year. I believe he went to BYU. Yeah, Cal's going to be really good. Regardless of their defense, they're going to be really fun to watch. A lot of high scoring football. JKS is like a potential Heisman candidate. I think he's so good. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, he's still young. It's going to take him a little bit of time, I think, to do amazing. But I certainly think he's that good. And yeah, on to the top six here. Now I'm going to go with the Virginia Cavaliers, a really solid team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Bo Prabula is their quarterback. He comes in from Missouri. Was pretty good. I think he gets a little too much hate. I think he's a pretty good player, honestly. And he's going to lead this team. Virginia, vibes are insanely high around this program. It's hard to play in Charlottesville, which most people thought they'd never have to say. But yeah, this Virginia team is going to be good. High ceiling, I think high floor, honestly, too, but I can see it crashing down. But I think it's gonna be a good Virginia team. They're ranked really high defensively. Pabula is gonna help them offensively. Good squad. Even though they did lose some guys, I do think Virginia is definitely at or near the top tier of the conference, kind of similar to Cal. Last year, Pitt had a really underrated season as their freshman quarterback Mason Heinzschel ended up kind of taking over as quarterback. Ended up doing a phenomenal job, beat out the starter, and yeah, he ended up having a really good season. He returns for another year. Good to see, similar to JKS. Just really cool to see a freshman do really well and then come back. I think he's going to be great next year. He was really quality last year. They also have Jakiron Turner at running back, who's going to be good as well. They have a good kind of pass run game. I think they're going to be very dual minded, able to do a lot of different things. Their schedule's pretty easy. They're supposed to win 7.8 games this year, which is pretty good as well. And they're just pretty solid on both ends of the football. They have a lot of shine on the offensive end, but just a really quality defense as well. So I think Pitt's going to end up being really good this year. I'm really high on this Virginia Tech team, who I'm going to put at number 4. I think James Franklin got a little too much hate at Penn State, but now going to Virginia Tech, I think that's kind of perfect for his level. And I think he's going to end up doing really well. He has some good offensive weapons like Marcellus Hawkins at running back and Kayshawn Brown at wide receiver. But I think you're going to help him out a ton. And overall, I just think Virginia Tech it's going to be a super hard place to play. I think they're going to do very well. And they brought, a good amount of guys from Penn State, which I think is going to help them out too. Just a good, solid team. I don't know about defensively. I think there's a couple of questions there, but offensively they look great. And I do trust James Franklin. I think that he's setting a good standard for these kids, and Virginia Tech's going to end up being really good next year. But I do think they fall just short of like the very, very top guys. Third place is going to be Louisville. This team's going to be great. I mean, Isaac Brown returns at running back. They also have Keyjuan Brown also coming in at running back, who's going to be great. They have Trey Richardson at wide receiver as well. But I think one of their biggest guys, obviously Isaac Brown's going to be their guy, but Brody Foley coming in from Tulsa at tight end, he's really underrated last season. Really good pickup for them. I think he's going to be great. And overall, just this offense, they have so many good guys at skill positions. They also have Kleb Leuven on the defensive line, who I think is going to be good as well. Defensively, they're solid, but I think offensively, they're going to be great. And yeah, this Louisville team's always really good. Unfortunately, I think they fall just short of the conference championship, but I can see them getting there pretty easily. I think Louisville, Virginia Tech, even like a Pitt, Virginia, Cal could even sneak in. But I think I think Louisville just misses the mark, but is a very, very good team. Number 2 is actually going to be SMU. They were in the playoff 2 years ago. Pretty good team, of course. Last year they kind of struggled a little bit. Kevin Jennings returns now for, I believe, his 3rd or 4th year with the program. He's been there forever. Been really good. I guess last year he wasn't, kind of took a year down, but I think he's going to come back strong this year. I think he's going to be really good. And I love the offense. I think they're just so consistent at every single position. Defensively, I think they're good as well. They have Marquez White on the defensive line, but I think will cause a lot of problems with quarterbacks. The defensive unit's good. The offensive unit's great. I think SMU is a conference championship level team. They don't have the talent. They don't have the flashy names, but they're just a really solid squad overall. But I do think there's one team that's a lot better than the rest, and that is the Miami Hurricanes, who are going to be the conference champions this year. They're ranked 7th overall, 7th on offense, 8th on defense, and I think that's a little bit disrespectful to how good this offense is. Malachi Toney was amazing last year. He comes back. Mark Fletcher was amazing. He comes back. Darian Mensah comes in from Duke. He was unbelievable. They have so many good guys. Shamar Brown at running back, Cooper Barkey at wide receiver. So many good proven guys within the program, so many proven guys at other programs coming in. They returned so many good players. I think Carson Beck was good, but I think Mensah is going to be a lot better. And yeah, I really love the offense. Even on defense, Damon Wilson on the D line. A lot of really good D linemen, by the way, in the ACC. But I think, yeah, just a really solid squad overall. A lot of big names, but also a lot of depth. A lot of, just solid squads. And yeah, Miami is definitely the best team in this conference. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I do think Miami is definitely the best team in this conference, but I think there's a lot of teams that can definitely compete. SMU, Louisville, Virginia Tech, Cal, a lot of good teams. I think the bottom of this conference is probably going to be pretty weak, unfortunately, but I think there's a lot of good teams overall. So yeah, I'm very excited for ACC football. And if you want to stay tuned for more conference prediction videos, college football, or just college sports in general, make sure to stay tuned on this page.